What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm your host, Graham Powell. On this screen, that's smiling Michelle Zingoulis on the other. Say what's up, Michelle.
What's up, Michelle?
I'm glad you decided to. Well, you had your name and then you just took your last name away. Okay. All right. Michelle's weird about having her name displayed. For those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube, as if you don't know who we are by now. Anyway, before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. The Tough Runs Don't Last is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at TR Don't Last. Okay, and that was kind of you, Michelle, to give a sign language for our deaf listeners and viewers. I chuckle because I saw your cat run away from sight. It runs like a raccoon.
Looks like one too.
Was that your fat one? Which one was that?
Yes, that was FERPA.
Yeah, looks like a raccoon. Body type and the way it runs now. He runs now.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, so we're a running show, so we'll talk about that for a little bit. Michelle has been, at least as far as live races go, the more active runner of the two of us in the last couple of weeks. You and I did the pumpkin run. We did not have a show last week. Our schedules conflicted.
Yes.
So here we are. We're going to talk about the pumpkin run, and we'll talk about the race Michelle did Saturday, as in yesterday, and then I don't know, whatever else is going on in life. All right. So the pumpkin run, Lone Oak, Arkansas, our hometown, September 28th. So last Saturday. And I ended up beating my time from the one time I did it in 2018 by 7 seconds. If you would have told me that going in, I don't know, maybe I'd be surprised. I really don't know. I don't know if I'm surprised or not by it. I still don't know. A week later, I, of course, had my running club there. A big group of us showed up. So I really kind of got to give some credit to the people I was running like alongside because they kind of kept my stride up, especially after mile 2. After mile 2, I started to feel winded and I started to trail back a little bit from the pack. But then with like a little over 2.5 miles in, so a good like half a mile, I was a little gassed, but then I got my second wind, especially when I realized kind of where we were, and I was like, okay, I'm getting close to being done. So I sucked it up, finished strong, and yeah, came in 22:21. Yeah, 22 minutes, 21 seconds. I'll take that. Pretty solid. Pretty solid day for me. I happened to I missed both the team photo and the Iron Runner photo. So I mean, I haven't done that yet. I haven't been 0 for 2 on that. And of course, we just kind of started doing the Iron Runner photo thing within the last few races. But yeah, I managed to miss both. I had a good excuse, I thought. I had, I had to go to I say, you had to go, I had to go to the bathroom before, the race.
Mm-hmm.
And so that basically led to me getting to the race kind of right after I was pulling in, like right when the team photo was being done. So I wasn't going to make that. And then my buddy who's in my run club who makes our club shirts, he was like, "Hey, I got your tank. Do you want it now?" Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do want it now. Because really, it's probably the Arkansas 20K would probably be good to wear it. Um, but after that, you got the Spa 10K in mid-November, and then the Three Bridges Marathon in December. I'm not gonna probably not gonna want to wear a tank for that.
Probably not.
So I was like, yeah, let's get it now. It's going to be the best time to wear it. So I went and got it. So that led to me missing the Iron Runner photo, but good race. Um, yeah, no complaints. Good breakfast after. You and I had a good after breakfast.
Yes. Well, that
And
was
some
my
coffee.
only breakfast, but
Yeah, well, shout out to the Cozy Nut Cafe in Lone Oak. They're like their staff of like two were overwhelmed by all the runners that did the Great 5K Pumpkin Run, and you wouldn't have known. I mean, we got our food fast. No, I
yeah.
was never out of coffee. I mean, they killed it. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. Cozy Nut Cafe in Lone Oak. If you're in the area, check it out. Very cool, unique place. So I like that place. It's the second time I've been. So uh, yeah, good day in Lone Oak. And how'd it go for you, Michelle? You actually came in quicker than I thought. Actually, I didn't know. I didn't know how you do. My mom did the race. She walked it like you did. Did you run a walk or just walk?
I run walked. Yeah, so I ran walked. I did decide to do that. I felt okay that morning. Um, but I started off with 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Um, and at about the mile and a half mark, I started having some chest pain. So I went to a 2 minute walk, 1 minute run. And then I ended up doing just 30 seconds on, 1 minute off. So I ended up like switching it up a lot throughout because I started off feeling great and then not so great towards the end. But it was my fastest 5K time um in the last year. So I finished in 43 minutes and 1 second.
I heard you that it wasn't sub 43.
I'm I'm happy with that.
You just said no. But that wouldn't be your style. You answer everything in essay format. So, all
I
right.
do. Yes, I
Did you
do.
start running or walking?
I start running.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we must have just missed each other because there's a spot where you make a left turn and you kind of do like a three-quarters of a square to finish the race.
Mhm.
And I saw people run or making that turn. And this is after I had already finished and drank a couple of waters. And so I'm going to run back and go see the people I know and just run, walk the rest, whatever they're doing. And so I started jogging. I just completed that missing part of the square. I started jogging toward where the race was going on. And that must have been where you had turned
Mhm.
because I didn't see you. I ran into my mom and a friend of mine in my running club who was there with pneumonia just to keep her Iron Runner status going. She did that. So shout out Amy there. That was pretty tough, I would imagine, to go do a race, even walking, with pneumonia. So, but iron running status still intact. So pretty cool there. But yeah, saw my mom, saw her, did not see you till well after the fact. I didn't know at that point, I didn't know if you were like gone, if you had just dropped out. You're like, nope, not doing this. And so I didn't see you for a while. I had to go to my car, get my phone. And I was like, oh, okay, you're here. And it turned out you just spent, I mean, we must have just missed each other on that turn.
Yeah. And then I was just literally sitting on a curb because it took a lot out of me. So I found a seat and was sitting there until you found me.
I felt pretty good. I felt pretty good when I got there. I won't share the story because I know it would make someone mad. I won't share the story of everything that before me going to the race and my bathroom issue. I'll just say it led to somebody else having a bathroom issue and they didn't make it to the bathroom. So I'll just leave it at that. But it was it was a good day for me. I enjoyed it. Stayed in Lone Oak all day after. Watched Arkansas lose to Texas A&M. That was disappointing, but Arkansas got a huge win yesterday, which is why I'm rocking my Arkansas hat. Beat number 4 Tennessee at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. So woo pig on that. Still in shock that Vanderbilt beat Alabama, but that's even at least equally awesome to me. But we'll get back to the running portion now. Just wanted to touch up on that a little bit. Kind of big news. Okay, you had a race yesterday. I slept in. I did not race yesterday. Didn't do a whole lot. The majority of the day, I watched football, and I honestly was on my computer for like half of the afternoon yesterday. So tell us about the race, how it went yesterday.
So yesterday I did the Arkansas Children's Hospital Race for a Healthier Tomorrow. So I did that race with my law school classmates. Um, I just walked yesterday. It was hot. It was already in like the mid 80s at 9:30 in the morning yesterday. So it was a warm one. There was no running. I ran across the finish line because I do have that rule. And the friend that I walked with, I told her that we had one rule, and that was that we can't walk across the finish line. So she also um ran across the finish line with me.
Did you beat your friend?
I did beat her by like 3 seconds.
Was it so it was competitive? Were you competitive about it?
No, she just told me to like not leave, or she told me to like leave her behind. She was like, just go. So I finished strong and she finished not so
Not
strong.
as not as strong.
Yeah.
Um, had it gotten competitive, would you have done what you could to beat
Oh yeah. If we had decided like to race at the end, yes, I would have put all of it into it.
her? Just curious.
Yeah. Um, that I did not have a great race experience yesterday though. Um, there were some mishaps at the race. It was not as well organized as it could have been. Um, for example, the race started 30 minutes after it was supposed to start. So we were all at the starting line and they just kept coming and saying 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, for
Yeah,
30
that's
minutes.
annoying. For context, this was in downtown Little Rock, pretty much, right?
Yes, the
So
race started at the state capitol and
there's
ended
a
at the
lo-
state capitol.
there's a lot of construction going on in that area. A lot of road construction, and for what traffic was the issue? I
Yeah,
assume.
they said that they were having to close streets. So,
Yeah, it should have already happened. For anyone that I will say this, for anyone that thinks putting on a live event race, even something small like a 5K, is easy. It's not. There's a lot that goes into it. You have to plan it out at least a year in advance. You really need more than that. You have to get permits from the city. You have to, and this includes like uh, getting police involved to close off roads, keep traffic away, that type of thing, especially in that like downtown Little Rock. Um, that's one thing about like the Capital City Classic. It's so well done. I mean, you are downtown. You are as downtown in downtown Little Rock as you could get, and we had zero issues. Like everything was closed off. It was just I PR'd there, which isn't ideal because it is very hilly in parts, even in downtown Little
yeah.
Rock.
Yeah.
But it was that well done, and it was a perfect time of year, late March, so it was still cool. But the point is, it's not easy. It's not easy to put these things on. So a 30-minute start, and I understand, and this would have been the problem for me because had I thought about doing that race maybe a month or so ago, the one you did yesterday, And then I just said, that's the day after my birthday. I don't know what all I'm doing the, on my birthday. So I'm just going to sit this one out. Plus, it's not a Grand Prix race. And I have a very busy schedule when it comes to running this year. Well, I'm just going to take that day off. So, but this the 30-minute, with it not being a competitive race necessarily for me yesterday, the 30-minute wait wouldn't have bothered me that much. But the other thing that you told me about would have really bothered me, and tell us about that.
Yeah. So I got there around like 8, between 8 and 8:15. The race was supposed to start at 9 because I was meeting friends. And I needed to go to the restroom. And so I went to find the porta potties that were not there. At and this was like almost 8:30. The truck was literally pulling up at 8:30 with 2 porta potties
How
for
many how many people did the race?
they said there were about 500 people.
Wow. And they were bringing two porta potties.
2 porta potties.
And you couldn't, there was no access to a building, anything like that.
Nope, it was 2 porta potties.
Did you have to go
Yes.
number two?
No. I
Well,
just needed to go number 1.
already said yes. All right, but so, either way, okay. See, that's the tough thing about being a chick is, you need a porta potty for that. At the pumpkin run, I'll just go ahead and say this. I just won't say where I did it. Um, when I went back to my car and changed shirts, they had 5 porta potties, but there was a line. I mean, there were a lot of people at the pumpkin run, and we were getting pretty close to the start. So I was like, I know this area. I'm gonna go find a little place behind the building and just relieve myself there. And it wasn't behind a building. It was behind a privacy fence that had, it was wrapping around like an AC unit or something, like an AC condenser or something. I don't know. But either way, it was enough for me to take care of that. And then I ran back to the start, and yeah, I was fully prepared to go. So a guy can do that, and it's not abnormal for guy runners to do that. Um, Even in like a downtown area. It's like, hey, we'll just go behind this bush between buildings. It's early in the morning. Nobody's out really except the runners. And the runners don't care. It's like, yeah, it's a long line porta potty. We see what they're doing. It's what it is. I mean, you try to be discreet about it, but it's what it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, it's just frustrating because, like, you would imagine that they would have that ready to go. Because there were volunteers and stuff there. They had like a bunch of tables and businesses that were setting up to advertise. And there was nowhere to go, like until 8:30. And then at that point, most of the runners are there. And as you've shared on this podcast, runners have some stomach issues.
Right,
Um,
you get nerves before a race.
yeah.
It wouldn't have bothered me as much yesterday, because it wouldn't have been like I wouldn't have been like, hey, I got to go give my all in this race like a Grand Prix race. But yes, I mean, just running can jostle some things around in your stomach, and yeah, you need to take care of that beforehand, especially if you're doing a 5K.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an issue. The bathroom, depending on the time of year, it like it okay, it's just this time of year, my number one priority would be bathrooms. Like, if I'm the RD, I need bathrooms. I need plenty of them, especially if I have 500 something people running.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure there's plenty of water and stuff like that. If it's in the summer, hydrating, like, enough water is the priority,
Oh, yeah.
but you need bathrooms too. Um, like Fort Smith Stampede, which was September 21st, was hot. It was very hot, and they had plenty of water, so that was not an issue. But the bathroom situation was terrible. I've talked about it here. That was that was a bad thing of the race about the race that they hopefully will correct next year. I won't be doing that race next year. I have no plans to, so not a problem for me. But yeah, if you want to put on a good race, make sure you got plenty of bathrooms for runners because that's an issue, especially for me. I always need to do that like right before. So
I am gonna be you though, because I got a medal and you didn't. So I'm gonna show off my medal. It's a spaceship.
it's not a spaceship.
Yes, it is. It's a UFO.
Mm, is it or is it Saturn?
It's a UFO. The
I
details
think
aren't on this, but the
I
details were
think
on the sign.
Saturn.
It's a
No,
UFO.
hold it back up. Hold it back up even closer. Okay, see, that's where the date is.
Uh-huh.
That's Saturn.
That is Saturn. This is a
Like,
UFO.
and that's the exact same thing.
No,
No, that is not a UFO. That's Saturn and then Saturn again, just colored in.
no, it's a UFO.
It's not.
It is.
No, it's Saturn and it's clearly Saturn.
You're clearly wrong.
You've clearly never seen a UFO,
I have seen not in real life UFOs, but I've seen lots of pictures of UFOs.
and they don't look like Saturn, and
They
that's Saturn.
they look like that.
Okay, well
You're looking at the wrong thing. You're thinking of like Star Wars and like those kinds of UFOs.
no, I'm thinking of Saturn, the planet that I've looked at pictures of my entire existence, and that's what Saturn is colored in. It's
It's
the
a
exact same. Look at it compared to Saturn on the metal right now. It's the same angle, everything. They literally took that exact image, blew it up for the main portion of the metal, and colored it in white. That's Saturn
Why would they put it on there twice?
because it's a charity 5K. Like it's not that deep.
No. It's
I
okay
mean,
to be wrong.
the whole point of the race is to raise money for the children's hospital, which it sounds like they did do that, so main goal accomplished. But that's Saturn on the medal. It's what it is.
It's okay. Do we want to talk about how you are now officially a man?
Now is the time.
Yeah.
Okay, you can explain to our listeners what you're talking about.
You turned 40 years old this week.
Yeah, I guess I didn't bring that up on the last podcast because it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned 40 years old Friday, so just 2 days ago. I am, yeah, officially 40 years old.
Yeah. How do you
When you
feel
start
about that?
getting senior citizen discounts.
I think that's like 55 now.
Okay, that's probably good. I I'd say I don't feel any different, but I have been exceptionally tired today. I don't really know why, but yeah, legs are a little achy, and I just woke up tired. I was like, I have to have some coffee before we get on here and podcast. Like when I woke up, I was not feeling doing anything. But I was like, I need to do two of three things today. It was either I knew I needed a podcast. That one was a definite, and
Mhm.
the other was either mow or run. And I think I'm choosing to mow. I would have ran if my brother wanted to, who's in town, my youngest brother. If he wanted to and didn't want to go like at, the butt crack of dawn, which I think is when he wanted to do it. And there's no think that's when he wanted to do it. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up early and run if I don't have. I rarely this year get 2 days during the week to sleep in. This is one of those weekends I got that. I'm taking advantage of it. I'm not going to get up early if I don't have to. So, yeah. So I'll be, I guess, mowing after this. It's a good day for it. It's hot, but I kind of like working in the heat, and I like to mow, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I am wearing my pumpkin run shirt. So,
I'm
did
wearing
you?
my Arkansas Children's Hospital shirt.
We kind of can tell, but your hair is covering the thing. You did rock the Spring Fling 5K long sleeve shirt, which seems
Did.
like a bad choice considering how hot it was.
It was so I did not check the weather when I left that morning. I checked it the night before and it said that it was going to be 72 degrees. And so my thought process was a long sleeve shirt would be a good idea
Yeah, for 72 degrees, a long sleeve shirt.
because I'm going to be cold at the starting line. And then when I start moving, then I'll be warm. And so I would rather just like push the sleeves up. But it was mid 80s. And it was a very bad idea.
You didn't
I
step outside and think, hey, I need to go inside and change shirts.
I immediately regretted it. Well, it was fine in the shade, but it didn't occur to me until I got there and was in the sun, and I was like, oof, I made a poor decision.
I just realized I've only ever seen you wear long sleeve tech shirts at races.
At the Cabot race, I wore a short sleeve.
You did not.
I did too. I wore the half marathon shirt. But
I didn't even wear short sleeves.
I
At
had a
the spring.
jacket over it. But I ended up taking the jacket off at like the mile mark
Okay.
and tied it around my waist.
Around your waist. Okay. All right. Maybe that was the confusion then.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite race that you've done this year? I mean, you got how many more do you have left on your schedule?
Zero.
You're not doing the creep and crawl?
I am not. My friend decided that she did not want to do it this year, so that's not one that I really want to do alone. Again, so um not doing that one. So I have zero races in the future.
Um, for the rest of the year or just in general? Are you
In
retiring here on the
in
show?
general. My law school friends, we are trying to figure out if we want to do the 5K or the 10K in the Little Rock Marathon weekend. So we're trying to figure out what we want to do. There are a couple that want to do the half marathon, but most of us are like, that's not for us. So we're trying to figure out that, but as of right now, no races in my future.
Well, I'm still trying to pace the marathon there. I haven't heard anything back. They said it could be like, well, it was weird. The person said, "I'll get back to you in a few weeks about it." And then later in the same paragraph said, "You'll hear from me next week." It's like, well, I don't know what to make of that, so I don't know. I'll give them a little bit more time, and if it's a couple more weeks pass, I might give them a gentle little nudge if I don't hear anything back about it.
Yeah.
But I my next race is 2 weeks from today. I'm just pacing. I'm pacing the Spooky Sprint Half Marathon in Fayetteville. That's the Beetlejuice medal that I showed you. So I'm pacing the 210, no, the 220 group because they needed a 220 person. So I said, I'll do that. Or I volunteered to do that. I am the team captain for that.
Oh, what does that
So
mean?
it means the owner of the pacing company is sending me, she's shipped me, I got an email about it on my birthday actually, that night. She shipped me a package with all the stuff, like the signs and like the dowels that go with it. And I just have to tape it all up and basically hand them out to the people at the race, get a team photo, and submit it to her. And I have to stay for the whole race to collect all the dowels and signs and stuff. And so that's all that means.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm doing the 220 groups. All that means is I gotta stay till the 3 hour person comes in. So I mean, it's 40 minutes more. So it's not that big of a deal.
No.
And it's a Sunday race, but I am going, which I just realized I probably need to just put in my PTO for Monday because I'm going to stay an extra day and just come back that Monday. So I'm not going to be in a hurry to leave. So it's not that big of a deal. And then the week after that, the Saturday after that, I've got the Arkansas 20K that runs by your house
I was gonna
and
say,
Midnight's making an
um,
appearance at the show.
yeah, and he's gonna possibly make an appearance to cheer you on at that race because it does go pretty close to where I live.
So it doesn't go by your house, it just goes near your house.
We can talk about that later.
Okay. All right. More eerie stuff from Michelle as far as that goes. Okay. I hope it doesn't go near your house because they got construction in that area too, and I don't want to be running over gravel. But yeah, that's my next competitive race. And yeah, after that, Spa 10K in Hot Springs in mid-November. And I did sign up for the Three Bridges Marathon on December 7th. I did that yesterday as well. I am officially registered for every Grand Prix race. I was
Yeah.
holding out for the Three Bridges one because it's expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah, it was $120 registration plus an 820 sign up fee. I hope it's well done. I know it's a memorial race and I respect that, but that's pricey. So yeah, we'll see. 80 people have registered though. There were 500 spots available and I was number and after me it was 420 spots left. So at least 80 people are going to be there. There will be more than that. People will sign up more as we get closer to race day.
Yeah,
But I wanted to at least go ahead and get it over with.
makes sense.
Yeah. But that's what's going on with me. Um, you were going to say something before I kept going. What were you going to say?
I have no idea.
So it slipped your mind. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. I, excuse me. I am doing as I've mentioned on the show, I am taking part in the Rhino Ultra.
Yes.
I am 4 weeks in, and I've done three of the 10 half marathons. So I'm going to have to, I am already going to double up next week for sure because I plan to do a half that Wednesday and then of course I'm doing one that Sunday. So I'll naturally double up whether or not I decide to next week or not. I may do that next week. I, I'm going to at least probably plan to do a half on Wednesday and then again that Saturday. The Razorbacks have an idle week. So that's probably a good day to do it. I don't think I have anything going on. It'll probably be a little bit cooler, and then I'll be doubling up again. So I'll be ahead of schedule, hopefully, after 2 weeks, like 2 weeks from today. So yeah, that's going well for the most part. I would be on, time on track. I should have four done, but I got very sick um, on my on week 3. I didn't talk about that on the show, did I?
I don't think so, and we don't have to talk.
Well, what happened is I got about okay, so I had the day off. I was forced to take a day off by Encompass Health. Thanks, Encompass Health, for that. Um, so I slept in. I got up. I had coffee and I had breakfast. I think I might have had some eggs and toast or something. I don't remember what I had, but I drank my coffee. I relaxed. I went to the bathroom. I was like, and okay, so I'm gonna kind of get ready to go. And then I got like hungry. Like I got pretty hungry. I was like, well, and then I was craving cereal. I get in a weird mood for cereal sometimes. And I had some frosted mini wheats that sounded very good. My milk that I had in my fridge went bad because the power in my place apparently went out one day at work for a few hours and the milk had just spoiled. I opened it, smelled it, it was bad. I definitely can't drink this. So I go to Dollar General up the road. I get some more milk, and it's good. It's as fresh as can be. The guy was putting it in the thing, like in the cooler, like as I was grabbing it. I was like, I'll just take that. So I get it. I come home. I have my cereal. You petting your dog?
I am. You can
Okay,
see his little nose.
in now. Yeah, it's very little. But yeah, I have my cereal. And I'm like, okay, I'm full. Now I can get ready to go. So I get ready, all prepped to go run a half in the middle of the day, early-ish afternoon here in Cabot. As soon as I start running, I don't feel right. Like I feel very sluggish. I felt a little too full, even like I might have eaten a little too much. Although I didn't feel like I did, but I was like, it'll pass. Like this will pass. So I'm over around the high school at this point. I get to about 2.5 miles in, and my plan was to kind of run toward like the Austin area ish, and just kind of come back, which is just a neighborhood. It's a really nice neighborhood. I've run around a couple of times, and I said I'm just going to go do that. But then my stomach started to rumble about 2.5 miles in. I was near the high school. I just felt like it was nothing emergency at that point. And then I said, okay, I need to go closer to home at least. I at least need to get close to home. So I just turn around and start back. I get to that I get to that four-way like stoplight in front of the high school. And then I'm like, I'm in trouble. So, but I didn't want to go in that gas station because it just, gas station bathroom. I was like, I want to get home. I'm pretty close to home. I was about 3/4 of a mile from home at that point. I think I can get home. I'm in panic mode a little bit or a lot of bit, but I'm still kind of running. I'm still running, and I go down this street where it's a busy street, and there's not really a lot of room to get off of it, but that was my straight shot to home. So I get on it, and as I'm running, I see this church. It's weird. It's called like John the Baptist Catholic Church or something like that, which is just just sounds funny to me. Um, it's like I thought it would be a Baptist, okay, but it's a Catholic church. But anyway, the good Lord was looking out for me that day because there was a porta potty outside of the church there, and I just said, if that's remotely clean, I'm going to go use that. I go in there. It's pretty clean. Like I would say a good like for a porta potty scale, probably like an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Like yeah. So I mean, you saw like the date. They had it was like a couple of days ago. They had like serviced it. So I get in there, I sit down, and then just all hell breaks loose. I mean, it was so bad. It was like the Exorcist, where she's like projectile vomiting and head spinning and all that, and it was that coming out of my backside. Like it was bad. It was so bad. The first 5 minutes, like I thought I was gonna pass out. Like really thought that. I was sweating profusely. It was that going on behind me, and like I almost opened the door a little bit to get some air, some fresh air. It was that like didn't care that like my pants were down or anything and I was in the middle of town. I thought about like opening the door a little bit just to get the fresh air. Fortunately, a draft was coming up underneath it. So that helped out a lot. But I realized pretty after about 10, 15 minutes of being in there, like this is not just a bathroom issue. Like I'm sick. And so at that point, I had decided I'm gonna go home. Like I'm tapping out today. This just isn't gonna happen. And so after about 20 minutes of being in there, I felt good enough to get home and then continue to relieve myself. And the Travelers played in the Texas League Championship that night, the deciding game 3. I wasn't going to go because I need to save money, but I wouldn't have been able to go. It was a great game, by the way. Shout out Travelers after winning on a walk-off single up the middle in the bottom of the ninth. Um, So I hate that I missed it, but I wouldn't have been able to go even if I could because I mean I was sick basically the rest of the day. So I just went home, tapped out, and actually had like one of the best training runs I've ever had the following day. Because I mean I was completely emptied out and wanted to put in a good pace and prep for the pumpkin run that Saturday. But yeah, I was thinking it was at first I thought this is the last remnants of the food poisoning I got, but I was like, no. At a certain point, I realized this was something different. There's a 24-hour stomach bug going around, and that was what I had. I'm certain of it. But at least it happened then and not at the pumpkin run. That would have been rough.
Yeah.
Oh God, that would have been and that was a miserable two the 2.5 miles I ran were just miserable. I mean, I actually ended up running 3 miles. It was like 3.03 miles is what I ended up running. So man, and God, I was sweating so much. So running 3 miles and being sick just led to an insane amount of sweat and grossness coming out of my body. But I'm glad we got to talk about this. I know that you really wanted to.
Yeah, I'm so glad we did.
Yeah, so that's how the Rhino Ultra's going. I ended up having a much more relaxing experience this past Wednesday, running 13.16 or 7, I think is what I ended up running. And yeah, had a good training run Thursday. And today I'm going to mow, so that'll be my workout for today. What is the temperature out right
It is 90 degrees.
now? Right on. So I'm definitely going to get a good sweat in today. Have you checked your fantasy team, Michelle? By the way, both of us are 3-1 in our fantasy leagues, Michelle and I.
We are. I have not checked it since we talked earlier.
Well, I'm down 23 points, but I have a 78% chance of winning because I only have 3 people playing and they're all in double digits. So off to a good start there. I do have a plethora of injuries at receiver, so I'm dealing with that. The person that you're playing has like 4 guys out.
I was gonna say, I feel like the person I'm playing did not pay attention this week because there was no way I can't lose.
Well, I don't think they've paid attention all year because he still has Antonio Brown in the starting lineup, and he hasn't played really all. He has T. Higgins on his bench, and he's got almost 30 points.
I do see that.
Like he's got guys on his bench that are playing well. He just didn't plug them in, so he clearly didn't care. Um, I mean, you started out good. You're not lighting it up now. Nico Collins is out, by the way. He left the game after that long touchdown.
Well, he still got me 15.8 points, so
Ooh, this Buffalo and Houston game has turned into a game.
but yeah, I'm not mad with the points that I have.
Well,
Um,
you're gonna win. I mean, you're gonna win even if you did poorly this week. But you started out really hot, and you kind of came back down to earth there.
yeah, but I mean, we're good. So,
The guy I beat last week, he's gonna have 150 points by 3 p.m. Like that's kind of wild. Of course, all his guys are about done playing. I have 6 left to play, and Chiefs play Monday night, and I've got 2 of those guys in my starting lineup: Mahomes and Harrison Butker. Did have Rasheed Rice, but
I
he's
have
going to be out for a significant amount of time.
I think I have 3 that play. I know I have 2 that play tomorrow.
I
Yeah.
got Dallas on defense tonight, Mahomes and Butker tomorrow night, and then everybody else plays at 3 p.m. So we'll get a good idea around 3 o'clock of or a little after. Well, I don't know, a couple hours from now. I'm say it is 3:05.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go watch the rest of this Bills Texans game. I don't have anything to add, Michelle. Do you before I go mow?
I was just gonna say that next week is gonna be the week that really matters for us. So,
Why is that?
because we play each other.
Well, that'll be fun to discuss on the show. I don't have anything going on next weekend that I'm aware of, so we should be back next Sunday. But until then, I guess we'll get out of here, and we'll definitely keep y'all updated on how Michelle and I's matchup will be next weekend because we're not gonna. I'm gonna have the Rhino Ultra and my training runs next week because I need to get better before the Arkansas 20K. But apart from that, no live races till a couple weeks from today. So that's it for us today. So I'm Grandpa. That's Michelle's and Goulis. We'll see y'all next time.
See ya.